boys were fucking lame. We were just tired. We just needed to wipe off for a second. We didn't want to leave you hanging and come back thinking there was some element of surprise, like we were never coming back. We were coming back. We were just tired. Thanks for not going home. Can we do a couple more? A history lesson? Okay, this helps me. Helps me get my breath. Story time with Marvelous 3. I think the year was, it was 1987. I was maybe 17, 16. And I walked into audition for this band in Rome, Georgia, which is right up the street from where I grew up, Cartersville. And another guy was auditioning on drums. And it was two older guys on guitar and bass that we were joining their band. So it was me on guitar, and auditioning on drums was Slug. That's the first time we ever played together. And we played an Ozzy song called Bark at the Moon. We crushed. We killed it. It was fucking awesome. And so we started this band with these guys. We played around a little bit. It was Rome, Georgia, which I don't know if you know anything about Rome. You shouldn't. You do? That is really weird. You do, because you're from Georgia, right? Well, you know, Rome is very small. It's not anything like Rome, Italy. We basically were the only band with long-haired dudes. Slug and I were trying to grow our hair out at the time. We were we were starting. We had starter stashes and starter mullets. And the guys in the band already had this amazing hair, because that's what you did in the 80s. Every band had lots of hair. You wore your sister's clothes. So I remember it was like that movie Rockstar, where the doors opened up. We were rehearsing at this Fraternal Order of Policemen's Lodge, and the doors opened up, and this one other band that was in town that had a bass player from Rome, Georgia as well, walks through the door. And it was like that scene where they open the door and doves fly in and fog comes out of nowhere, and all this wonderful, beautiful fucking hair on all of them. And I was smitten with all of them. And the first guy that walks up, it's the bass player. He walks up and he opens his mouth and he said, "Hey man, I just came to see what all the fuss was about with these boys." It was him. Enter Jace Fincher. And I just thought to myself, that dude's a cocky motherfucker. What an asshole. Turned out to be my best friend. Much later, but I can tell you this. At the moment, I was pretty smitten with his personality and his social skills, which I was lacking sorely at the time, because I was just a little metal guitar shredder who sat in his bedroom all the time and had no personality. And so Jace, we started hanging out a lot, even though we were in separate bands, and Slug and I were doing our thing, and Jace was in his band, and we just kind of started bonding. And next thing you know, it's graduation time in '88, and right after I graduated, Slug and I said, let's move to Los Angeles with our band. And that's what we did. But I was really sad, because what I really wanted deep down was I really wanted the bass player of our band to be this guy. So we went out there. Here. We went out here. Well, so I used to tell the story elsewhere because we never come here. But we moved out to Hollywood. We lived at the corner of Whitley and Yucca. Yeah. Which in '88 meant you're gonna die. And it was exciting. It was a lot more exciting than Cartersville and Rome, Georgia, I can tell you that right now. We fucking loved it. And our bass player only lasted about 3 months, and he was just like, "This is not for me," So we're still really good friends with Brian to this day. But when he said he announced that he was gonna quit and go home, I was like, "Oh no!" I called up the Chase right away, and I was like, Chase, there's an opening. Do you want to take it? And he goes, man, I'll be there in 3 days. Got in his van and fucking drove across country. Not only did we have Jace Fincher in the band, but we had Jace Fincher and a van. Now we're a real band in LA. 1988, and we are a real fucking band playing these little places on the strip called the Roxy and the Whiskey and the Barries back in the day. It was our hell we loved so much. And so our band got signed like within like 10 months. We had a record deal with Virgin Records. We did an album. We did a video that was more expensive than making the album. And it kind of didn't work out. So a couple albums down, and we were like, you know, fuck it, let's find something else to do. Well, it happened to be randomly, of all places, the label sent us to China for one of our last dying gasps of a band. And we go over to China, and we're like the first American rock band to play in China at the time. This is like 92. And we're on train rides, like, you know, plotting the end of the band while we're over there. And so we had a singer at the time, and I was like, okay, well, let's kind of reinvent ourselves. Let's do something else, you know, we're over this. And I was like, who's gonna sing? And then Jace and Slug said, you are. I was like, fuck that, I don't know how to sing. I'm not gonna sing, so thanks for talking me into it, though. I kind of like the job. We ended up starting a band called the Floyds, and we went around all around the country in a van, just doing it all ourselves, and making our own merch, making our own like CDs and tapes and shit, and packaging them and folding all the J cards and shit, and making it at Kinko's and selling them anywhere we could. We were playing everywhere for like $100, wherever we could play. We played a gig, so we were playing like 200 shows a year. No matter where we could go, we just played. And you know, next thing you know, there's a bun in the oven, and this guy pops out. So Holden Fisher was born in 97. You were as old as the song Makeup. And so, you know, Chase, he had his hands full with that for a minute, so he's like, I need to take a year off and just kind of, you know, learn how to be a dad. And we were like, absolutely, man, we'll do it. So in the meantime, I was kind of bored, so I started a little side project and recorded a bunch of demos at home. And Jason, you know, we were working jobs wherever we could. So, Slug, you were working at Pike Nursery, right? You were at the nursery selling plants. And I was working at music stores with Jace. We were working at this place called Famous Park in Music, whenever we weren't on the road. And since you were home on baby duty with this guy, I would go in and visit you at the music store. And I came in and I played in my demos. And I said, this is a little side project that I've been thinking about doing. I think I'm gonna call it the Marvelous 3. And you heard it, and he goes, well, first of all, fuck you, I want to be in it. So it was Slug and I. And then, oh, I wouldn't. Oh, well, I don't know. I didn't know if I was gonna be your thing. It ended up working out, but I remember I played him this handful of demos, and you know, I didn't ever know grasping what a commercial song at the time was, or a pop song, or a hit song was. So I was just writing. And we started to play this song, and I played him this demo, and he goes, that song sounds like it could be a hit song. And I was like, what, a hit? That's weird. What is that? You know? And so I went into the radio station in Atlanta called 99X, and I played them the demo, and they said, sounds like a hit song. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And they were like, well, is there any label interest? I was like, no, labels don't want to touch us because we wear eyeliner. This was like 98, so like, you know, we had the good Charlotte invasion yet. And it was like, we kind of looked freaky with eyeliner and skinny jeans on. And labels were like, they just thought we looked weird. And so nobody wanted to do this. And she said, the program director for that said, well, I want you to wait because I'm going to play this song. And if it reacts and it's a hit song, then I think you're going to have no problem getting a record deal. And so sitting around, doing whatever we could, living hand to mouth for, a decade or whatever. It worked out pretty well because she played it and it became like a big hit song on the alternative radio. And we were, I don't know, forever changed after that moment because without that moment, without that inertia and that momentum, even though the band kind of had a short 2-album span after that, and we took 20-something years off before deciding to do this again, it all started with one song.